Welcome back to the Honor Display and to another edition of Collision Out of 10, a Thursday edition of Collision this week. And yes, a big match on the card, including Cole Fletcher versus Kyle O'Reilly in the Battle of the Coles, and Adam Cole taking on Josh Alexander, as well as a couple of other things. So yeah, let's get straight into things. And we open things up with Tony Schiavone bringing the Outrunners and FTR to the ring for a confrontation. FTR said they didn't want to throw away their friendships with the Outrunners and played a video of some of their shared moments. Dax Harwood ripped into the Outrunners being a joke and failed whenever they had a big opportunity. FTR tried to get the last word and leave, but Turbo Fire and Truth Magnum fired back by saying the crowd loves them and still believes in them. A decent promo segment, but it's also relatively basic, and they're doing a decent job to set up their eventual match. Before we got Christian Cage and Nick Wayne taking on Brian Keith and Big Bill. Cage and Wayne took on them in their first match of the night, and it looked like Papa Cage was going to start, but he made his decision to bring in the contest against the adopted Bounty Hunter instead. They traded some offense for a minute before Bill and Cage both tagged in. The former TNT champion was immediately on the mat by the Redwood, which caused him to tag Wayne back in before taking a beating for him. This match lasted through the break in the next segment. They just had enough time to make this feel like a competitive fight without overstaying their welcome. Keith and Bill have grown into a solid team since Jericho took a hiatus, and it was great to see them look so good against Cage and Wayne, who continue to add layers to the storyline. Mama Wayne caused a distraction that saved Nick from being pained, and Cage hit Keith with a spear, and Wayne followed that with a kick for the pin and the win. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I thought, yeah, it was a decent match. I really enjoyed the story with Cage and Wayne. I think it definitely makes sense. And yeah, get 6 out of 10. Brody King and Templaro then took on Hechicero and Rocky Romero with CMLL Stars obviously in the action. The two masked men got the match started for their team with a quick exchange of takedowns. Romero and King tagged in, and Zuka made the mistake of trying to take King down with a shoulder tackle. This is the kind of match that got more physical as it went on, especially when King was involved. He was over the crowd and hit his signature moves with big pots. After a back and forth contest, King hit his finisher on Romero to get the win. So yeah, 7 out of 10. Decent match. I thought, it exposed the CMLL Stars well. Before we got Megan Bain versus Vert Vixen, who's obviously made AEW and RH appearances over the years, but the Mega Sis was in control and maintained the upper hand for 3 minutes, hitting her finisher for an easy win. There wasn't much of this, but it was a decent enough squash. 5 out of 10. Before we got Adam Cole versus Josh Alexander for the TNT title, Josh had Trent in his corner, and the walking weapon went right after Cole's ankle that was surgically repaired last year. They kept things technical and focused on holds and counters for the first few minutes. When we returned from a break, this became more physical, and we came back for a split second before Cole drilled Alexander with a super kick. The coup put on an entertaining match for Cole won with a running knee to the back of Alexander's head. But yeah, I'm going to give it 7 out of 10. A really good match between these stars, and I think Cole was always going to get the win, but yeah, still fun match. Julia Hart then accompanied Sky Blue to the ring for her match against Queen Aminata. Even though the Queen had a significant height advantage, they felt evenly matched. Blue took control thanks to a distraction from Hart, and she had a neck breaker from the apron to the floor as the show went to a break. The Queen began to make a comeback during the break and had the upper hand when we returned. Hart tried to block Blue to give her time to recover, and it led to Blue sending Aminata into the ring sets. In a somewhat surprising outcome, Aminata scored the win over Blue. Hart stared down until Thekla made her way to the ring. Blue, Hart and Thekla teamed up to attack Aminata until Jay and Melee made the save. So yeah, more intriguing stuff building in the women's kind of tag division. So yeah, 5 out of 10. We then moved on to Cole Fletcher versus Kyle O'Reilly in the main event. Kyle O'Reilly was by himself instead of being with members of the stable. Fletcher had the size advantage, but O'Reilly brought more experience, so it felt evenly balanced. They locked up and began with a simple wrist lock they had before a sequence of counters and hold. It was a surprise nobody to hear that he stole the show. Fletcher has been one of AEW's best in-ring performers, and Kyle O'Reilly's reputation speaks for itself. So yeah, they blended their styles to create a fantastic main event that cleared everything else on the show by a mile. Arch showed up and attacked O'Reilly while the ref was dealing with Fletcher, but KRL kicked out, and afterwards Fletcher finished off with the brainbusters to get the win. Probably the right result, and yeah, like I say, a brilliant match to finish off the show. So 8 out of 10 from me, and overall Collision this week gets a 7 out of 10 from me. I thought, yeah, a really strong episode of Collision. I thought, definitely boosted by that main event, which was really, really good. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I think, yeah, the quality on the show was really decent. So yeah, 7 out of 10. That's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.